medically supported weight loss. It's a term you're going to hear a lot more about, especially now with some of the new weight loss medications on the market. Providers are getting into really helping guide their patients. One of the most important things you can do to improve your health, and that is losing some weight to control some medical conditions or actually sometimes prevent some. So I'm going to wear two hats when I do this talk, because I'm a pharmacist and I'm also the owner of RxHealthyHabits, where we have a website and a lot of content, blogs, videos on the topic of how to get healthy, how to lose weight, but also how to keep it off. So I'm going to go through and talk about this topic. It's a huge one, and it's expected to be by 2035, weight loss medications are expected to be a $100 billion industry. But what I'm finding as a pharmacist is, as I dispense these medications every day, I'm not seeing that a lot of the patients are willing to do the heavy lifting, if you want to call it that. It's not a bad idea, by the way, for their fitness, but they need to do some incorporations of healthy lifestyle habits in order to not gain the weight back. Because unfortunately, after year 5, let's say they do this for a year and a half, or that's on a lucky side, their insurance will cover for a year and a half. By year 5, many of them go back to the same weight, maybe 3 to 5% loss in baseline. That's it. So the data is not promising if they don't make some changes and just rely on these medications, because you really can't stay on them forever. So I'm going to go through and talk about why is it a good option. So, medically supported weight loss, why is it a good option? Well, it's evidence-based. First off, there's a lot of good evidence to show that if you take a medically based weight loss program, there's good evidence and there's good studies, because obviously some of the pharmaceutical companies want to track this, but there's a lot of good evidence to show that if the healthcare provider is involved, it's got more weight, it's got more accountability, it's got more credibility. How's that? That makes sense, right? So evidence-based approach. Number 2, tailored to individual needs. Some people that are trying to lose weight, I got to tell you, that's great, but the provider needs to know what they're doing, because he may have to make some adjustments. So it's tailored to the individual needs, and sometimes a program has to be tailored too. So the professional guidance, like I said, is a big factor. If the patient knows that the doctor is really going to be guiding them on this medically supported thing, and he's going to bring in all kinds of other experts to help them, they're more on board. The biggest thing with medically supported weight loss is the medical intervention with pharmaceuticals. That up to this point, we didn't have great ones. That's changed with the GLP-1 agonists. You've heard them on TV, some of the commercials, but these can specifically be used now, just not for type 2 diabetes, but some of these injections are used once a week for weight control. And there's 2 different ones on the market labeled right now. There's more coming. So what does a typical format for a medically guided program look like? Well, number 1, there's the initial assessment evaluation. It's very important that you find out, where you are relative to where you're going to go. There's dietary intervention. A lot of times they'll bring in a dietitian or somebody that can come up with a meal plan, a structured plan of eating where you have certain fuelings or snacks, and then also meals. And you've seen some of the advertisers out there, some of the big companies. They all have some where you can buy all your food and some that you buy part of it. But it's all based on structure. But dietary intervention, if they're going to do it on their own, then there's going to be some really a lot of learning to do, but they can do it. Physical activity and fitness should be always promoted with a program where you're doing weight loss injections, but usually, obviously, start out slow. And then the medication management. This has to be dosed to a small starting dose so you don't have side effects, and ratchet it up till you get to a point where you're at the maximum dose. And that's usually, we don't go beyond that because there's no information on it. Psychological support sometimes, so your healthcare provider may set you up with some of that, especially some therapists or maybe some people that can help. But the most important thing I think is regular monitoring and follow-up to see how you're doing. And this is where I think medically supported weight loss really shines, because you have to come back for your visits in order to get your medication. And that's where he can say, okay, or she can say, you're doing good, you're not doing so good. Where are some of the things, and what's your game plan when you go off these? So, but here's one. Why are they effective for weight loss? Why are these injectable drugs so doggone effective, at least while you're on them, to lose weight? Well, there's been a lot of studies out there. And in my blog that I really recommend, when you hear this video, you go on the website, RxHealthyHabits.com, and check out my blog on this topic. I've done a couple blogs on weight loss injection, but the recent one here for the year 2024 really goes into a lot of detail about medically supported weight loss. The blog is fantastic. So in there's a couple things that talks about some studies. There's a STEP study step 1 study, I guess they call it. It was semaglutide, and that was used in obesity. And they show that patients at 68 weeks of therapy were down 15% of their body weight from baseline. That's pretty good. Now, they didn't have a lot of stuff after that to show, but then there was a couple other studies they did to show that long term at year 5, again, that went down to about 3% or 5% of baseline, which means there was a lot of slippage, because in most cases, if they weren't followed with diet and exercise and really had a program to keep the weight off, they went back to their previous hunger level, because the semaglutide and all the weight loss injectable drugs, they reduce your appetite. And patients love that because they say, I'm just not hungry, so I don't eat. Well, there's a lot of downsides of that too, because you're not learning how to eat. So can you achieve above average results with these injectables and with medically supported weight management? Yes, because they really enhance appetite control. They improve metabolism with some of the insulin's sensitivities and such. They can create sustainable weight loss if somebody incorporates the weight loss strategies of dietary and fitness. And they really can help with developing a healthier lifestyle habit if somebody does weight loss injection drugs and follows a doctor's instructions about long term. The big thing is you got to stick to it. So we're going to talk about that. Now, what I think is, if you can find a provider that also incorporates some other healthcare professionals to help you on your journey, whether it be dietitians, psychologists, health coaches. My wife and I both, as pharmacists, are also health coaches for RxHealthyHabits.com. And we do help some providers now provide them a service that you take care of the medication management and all the important things that has to be done with their health, with their medication prescribing. And we'll take care of making sure that they get the support they need, if they want it, to really dial in their lifestyle habits. And I tell you what, that's what's going to be a winning program. And I wish we could set up right now a way to do a study to show if we can make an impact at year 5, year 10, because I tell you what, really it all comes down to, yeah, you can lose weight with these drugs. They're very effective. But long term, if you don't incorporate the habits of health, you're really not going to increase your overall, you're never going to obtain optimal health and lifelong transformation. So I hope that information helps. Come to my blog, get them rxhealthyhabits@gmail.com, send me an email, and you can get on a weekly newsletter where all these come out every week, all different ideas about how to take your health back. And this is one of them. So until next video podcast, stay healthy, stay strong, and really think about looking at medically supported weight loss for you. Talk to your healthcare provider. And if you need us to help you find, there's a lot of virtual providers that can get you on the weight loss medications, and then we can help with the other side. So we offer both. So hope that information helps. And until next video podcast, God bless.